to another episode of Love, Sex, Lies, and Reality. It's another Friday. It's another day to gather together and share nuggets of wisdom that can help us move forward. Have you ever gone on a date and the relationship ended, or it's not even a relationship when you're dating? Have you ever gone on a date and you assume there was a relationship and you guys were good, but at the end of the day, something happened and you both fell apart, and you now look for someone else, but you're looking for the person you left behind? Let me say that again. Have you ever gone on a date that happened to go well and you guys were getting along, but eventually things fell apart and you started looking for somebody else that was like that person you left behind? If that's you, today's episode of Love, Sex, Lies, and Reality is for you. It's all about stop dating your past. The past is over. The past cannot be repeated except you create it as a narrative and you reenact and play a script to make it work. But reality is, what happened yesterday cannot take place again today, except you choose to carry it over. And when you carry it over, it's like carrying on leftover food, leftover meals. They're either going to taste good or they're going to taste bad. But it's all up to you to figure out what you need to do to move forward from such a relationship. It may be you were married before and that relationship worked out a bit and things just fell apart. Or it may be that you've dated several people and you keep repeating the same patterns and cycles, keep looking for the same type of partner, and you just find yourself going back to the old things. The old partner, the way they look like, the old partner, the way they were, whatever you liked about that relationship. It may even be like you were looking to date somebody that looked like your dad. And so you continue to find partners that mirror someone that you know, that you really were attached to. And when you do that, it's dating your past. So what makes us date our past literally are several things. A childhood experience, which may be a childhood trauma that we're trying to really learn from and heal from, but we don't know how to process the emotions. And we're just carrying on, like reenacting everything to try and do a replay to get to the root cause, but we get stuck in that process. So you start to date your past because you're carrying the childhood trauma and trying to meet partners who are also in a traumatized space with similar experiences, and you're kind of meeting up and dating the past. The second thing is if you were abandoned as a child or if you ever felt rejected as a child, you will try and recreate that experience because you're trying to figure it out. But when you don't really understand how to process your emotions, the same thing is repeated over. And so you find partners that abandon or reject you, and you go back to the same thing over and over and over again. Third thing is breakups. Like I shared when I started, breakups allow you to look for someone like that person because there was a form of emotional attachment, which may be healthy or unhealthy, depending on what the relationship is all about. And then you try to reenact that story again and find yourself going through multiple breakups because there's a childhood trauma, there's the feeling of rejection or abandonment. It may be a couple of things. It may be repeated breakups as well, but that's repeated. The fourth thing is projection. Projection of every emotional pain or trauma that you carry. And in trying to understand that and in trying to heal from that, but not knowing how to, you end up projecting those things on a partner that you're looking to be in a relationship with. And then that gets repeated over and over again. And you keep projecting. And how projection works in a relationship is when you're trying to force a partner to do something that they don't even know what it is about, and they don't even know how to go about it. So it may be, I want you to be like this, I want you to do this, but that longing that you're looking to have a partner fulfill is the longing that you need to work on yourself. But because you don't know how to work on it, you now project it on a partner, and that partner may initially start fulfilling your needs. But the thing is, when they become overwhelmed, they may also exit the relationship, which leads to a breakup and sometimes will look like rejection or abandonment. Again, some of these things are tied together. And then you look at number 5, while you keep dating your past, you will love bombed. You have this fantasy and illusion idea about what a relationship should be like. And what you find out is when you create this fantasy and illusion, you get love bombed by somebody who presents that. You project it over, they mirror you back. And what happens is that partner is not going to be consistent because it's love bombing. It's just faking it to get into a partnership with you, or it may be just faking it to get the cookie jar. And so, and another thing about getting the cookie jar is it's also from a traumatic experience. Is a way to numb their emotions, which is also part of inconsistency. So they try to numb their emotions. You try to numb your emotions. You get love bombed, and that repeats itself again. And then the last thing is the lack of intimacy, the lack of building self-intimacy with yourself. You're not in tune with yourself. You don't love yourself enough yet. You don't know yourself enough yet. You haven't connected with your own soul. And so your soul is longing, and then you project everything that your soul is longing onto somebody else, and you keep repeating the same type of part. You keep meeting the same type of partners. You keep dating the past. You keep carrying the leftovers over and over and over, but it never stops. So what are some of the things that you can do? The first thing is to take a pause before you get into a relationship. What exactly are you looking for in a relationship? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. What exactly are you looking for in a relationship? If you don't know what you're looking for, it means that you don't have established core values, and you don't have established relationship goals and requirements that you're using to vet partners when you're in the dating and sorting game. Because dating is not a relationship. It's a vetting and sorting game to know if this person can be committed, and if they do meet your requirements and your relationship goals. And so if you're not in alignment, the same thing will be dating the past and repeating cycles. So you have to establish your core values, have to establish your relationship goals, have to establish your relationship requirements that you will use to vet partners, and make sure that you're not leaving yourself behind or self-sabotaging just to get someone to fill a void that only you can fill. Nobody else can fill that void. You have to fill that void. The second thing to do is, as you examine yourself, as you check yourself on a daily basis, please do check yourself through introspection, through self-reflection, through me time with yourself. Just make sure you're checking yourself every day to make sure that you're not the toxic one to yourself. Because sometimes we don't know we're toxic to ourselves, and then we meet people and we think that they're the ones that are toxic, but they're only bringing us a conscious awareness that we need to do some healing work in our lives. So second thing is to check yourself daily. As you're checking yourself, make sure you're journaling down the things that you're learning about yourself. What are you choosing to accept? Are you accepting less than what you truly need? And how are you meeting those needs in your own space? Because if you're not, you will find yourself dating your past again. The third thing is to start to do the healing work, either working with a coach or a therapist, whichever one applies. Not everybody can work with a therapist. Therapists have their own role, and there's a role of a coach. So know who you need to work with as a professional, and commit. Number 4, commit to doing the work in your own life. Because it's easy to tell yourself stories. It's easy to create narratives. It's easy to fake it to make it. It's easy to lie to yourself. But when you lie to yourself, you're not operating from a place of love. You're operating from a place of trauma. Because pain and love cannot coexist. I've written that in my book, Beyond the Pain. And so you have to really tell yourself the truth. Even though it's going to hurt at the beginning, but the truth is what liberates you, sets you free completely from what is making you repeat patterns and cycles. Because if you don't, what you will do is keep looking for transactional relationships, and transactional relationships are not healthy. It's about I can get this from my partner. My partner can give me this. But what are you doing to give yourself what somebody else is giving you? Because when they stop giving it to you, you will think that they stop loving you. Love is not about the gifts. Love is about knowing and understanding who you are so you can see the other person as a reflection of yourself, and you can trust, you can love, you can be patient. Love does not keep a record of wrongs. So if you're keeping tabs on what your partner is doing, is because you're in a transactional relationship, and that's not going to work until you start doing the healing work in your own life, until you start committing to yourself, until you start evaluating your core values, your requirements, and setting your relationship goals and vetting partners with those. You may keep repeating all these things that I've said earlier on and dating your past. The past is not a place to leave. The past is like having a trash can where you've dumped all the waste into, and then you're sitting in the waste. And when you sit in the waste, what happens? You begin to stink. The past is stillness, and nothing can grow where things are stale. You will just find out that the only thing that you're growing is algae. And algae and molds cannot help you breathe better. They can't even help you live healthier. So if you're growing things like molds in a still place, or you're finding yourself in the spider's web where everything is just getting convoluted and you're entangled in unhealthy behaviors and patterns, then you will be your own blessing blocker and you will not move forward. The goal is to do the work and commit to yourself. I've shared so much on commitment because that's the key to liberating yourself, to building healthy for yourself. Because when you're healthy, you can recognize what is unhealthy and you can say, you know what? I ain't settling for less because I'm trying to wing it. Winging it is survival mode. It's not thriving mode. You want to make sure that you know yourself, you meet your needs, you're able to be whole. Self plus love equals wholeness. That's my mantra. When you're whole, you find a partner to complement your wholeness, and they will be a reflection of who you are because you are evaluating as the CEO what you need and making sure that they're in alignment with where you need to be with yourself, your life's purpose, your goals, and your values, so that you're not settling and taking crumbs from under the table instead of hitting the whole food. If you're not eating the whole food, then you're feeding yourself crumbs. Breadcrumbing would happen, love bombing would happen, stonewalling would happen, gaslighting will happen, and then you become angry as a result. But anger is also a teacher as an emotion that helps you gain awareness into things that you need to work on and ensure you're not repeating, because repeated patterns and cycles only lead to us creating a lifestyle that's not meant for us, but us staying in survival mode and not evolving in life's journey. So remember to never stop loving. When you stop loving, you stop living. When you stop living, it means it's time to go back to the maker. That's a quote from Love, Sex, Lies, and Reality, my book. And when you stop living, there's nothing to change. You will just stay in the past, and the past is not a place to thrive. The past is a place to survive, and survival is not what we were created to be and become. We were created to thrive and evolve to be the best version of ourselves while still living and breathing. You'll have a great Memorial Day weekend. Talk soon. God bless. Bye-bye.